friends, welcome back. My name's Gina. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell and select all. This way you're notified every time I upload a brand new video. Before we get started today, I wanted to show you my shirt. I virtually cropped at the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo 2020. I love shirts like this. They're so cute and so comfortable to wear. If you've been liking my t-shirts, go ahead and give me a big thumbs up and leave a comment down below. In the description box, I'm going to link my Facebook page and my Instagram so you can follow me on those as well. I'll also put the Scrapbook Expo so you can check it out. All right, so today I have two Easter DIYs for you that you're gonna absolutely drool over. So let's get started and jump right in. Hi guys. Okay, so for DIY number one, we're gonna take 3 boxes, and they don't have to be necessarily these boxes. They can be any boxes. We're gonna take those wooden tags from Dollar Tree and scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby, some floral and some boxwood stems. You also need floral foam. And then we're going to take Waverly chalk paint in ballet slipper and Waverly chalk paint in celery. And the first thing we're going to do is go in with a heat gun or a blow dryer of some sort, and we're going to go ahead and try to get the labels off. It is like a thin paper on the front of these boxes. These are from Dollar Tree, by the way. So I just go in with my heat gun and I try to scrape off the paper, but that wasn't working. So I went ahead and just decided that I was going to sand down what I could of the words and the glitter. So I go ahead and I'm just sanding down as much as I can sand down to get the surface flat and smooth. And on these boxes, the glitter was on the front and on the back portion of it where you see the rainbow. So I did have to go ahead and sand down the back portion as well. And you do this for all 3 boxes. Of course, you don't have to use these type of boxes. Dollar Tree sells little boxes that have drawers in them. You could definitely use those and just take the drawer inserts out, and then they're just plain wood, so you don't necessarily have to go ahead and sand them. You can just paint them as is. And then I clean up with my Ladybug vacuum. And then I go ahead in and I decided to do 2 of them pink ballet slipper and 1 of them the celery chalk paints. So I go ahead and paint these, and because the words, there were words on them, they were showing through just a bit. And even though I was going to have the bunny and the egg over each box on the front, I didn't want the words to show through at all. So I did go ahead and give these probably about 3 coats of paint. And so I gave them each a coat. Each coat I let dry very, very well, and went ahead and gave it another coat. And then I didn't paint the inside because we're going to cover that with floral foam and floral, so you're not going to really see that at all. And you just see me painting the 3rd box, celery. And I decided to do the blue box, the celery, because it was a darker paint than the pink. And so after you're done painting these, you want to set them aside and let them dry really, really well. And then you want to go in with your tags. Now these are tags from Dollar Tree. And I have 2 bunnies and 1 egg, and I went ahead and turned 1 bunny over so that you saw the bunny facing 2 different directions. And we go ahead with our scrapbook paper, and I was doing green matching green and pink matching pink So I go ahead and I do the egg out of the green because I wanted that to be our center box. And I go ahead and trace the bunnies out of the pink. And I go ahead and you'll see I do the bunny in one direction here. Sorry that it's out of frame just a tad, but I'm just tracing it. And then you'll see that I go ahead and I take the bunny and turn it the opposite direction and go ahead and trace that way, that direction out. And this is going to give us a bunny facing in each direction so that we kind of frame our center box where the egg is. And then I'm just going to cut these out. And I did get this paper at Hobby Lobby, but you don't have to use scrapbook paper. You can always go in with paint and paint these. You could use fabric to cover them. Really, the possibilities are endless. And so you just want to make sure that you cut it out perfectly to size. If not, you have to go around the edges with an X-Acto knife to trim off whatever is hanging over. And I didn't bother to paint these tags because you're not going to see the back of them and the front is going to be covered. So they didn't need to be painted. And now you're going to see I go ahead in with my glue stick in just a minute, and I go ahead and put the green on the egg, the green paper on the egg, and then go ahead and put the pink paper on the bunnies. And you'll see what I mean when I say that they're facing the opposite direction. So that's one way, the bunny's pointing to the right, and then this way the bunny's pointing to the left, and then this way they're kind of both facing the direction of the egg in the center. And then next step we're going to do is we're going to make little twine bows for the bunnies. So you'll see that in just a minute. But first I cut to size the foam for the boxes. And the best way to do this is with one of those spackle tools that you can get at Dollar Tree, because it cuts it so evenly and it cuts right through. It's very easy. Okay, now here's where I go in with the two little pieces of twine and make two twine bows for the Easter Bunny's ears. And I just, since they were in pink, I figured that they were girl Easter bunnies, and I went ahead and I put a little bow up by the ears of each bunny. Then those are done. Now we go ahead and we take the glue, the hot glue, and we go ahead and we glue in our foam pieces. And you want to make sure you put a good generous amount of glue in the bottom. Then we go with our tags and glue just the bottom portion, because that's all that's going to stick to the box. And we glue the bunnies on, and then we finally glue the egg on to the center one. And then the floral I'm using is lilac and boxwood stems. And we go ahead and I take 2 sprigs of lilac and put them right in the center, and then fill in around it with the boxwood stems. And now you can arrange it however you want to arrange it. You can use purple flowers, you can use pops of color, yellow, anything you want to use. I just went with white because I liked that neutral color. And you can go ahead and fill it as full as you want it. I did it pretty full because I didn't want any of the floral foam to show through on the final product. So you just see me doing the last box there. And like I said, you can use any floral that you want. And they go in, the boxwood stems went in super easy to the floral foam. And so there you have 3 cute little Easter boxes, little planters. And you'll see right here, I go ahead and I show you the 2 pink are facing the center one, and that's the green egg. And we're on to DIY number 2. Okay, so we're taking one of these tag signs from Dollar Tree, some scrapbook paper that we used in the last DIY from Hobby Lobby. The wooden bunny is from Dollar General, some twine, some beads, some floral, and some Sola wood flowers. I'll go leave the link in the description box for the flowers. They're absolutely gorgeous, and they're called Sola wood flowers, and so you'll check them out. So we go ahead and remove the tag, and then I just start by painting the back side of it celery by Waverly. And I went ahead, because I didn't want the wood to be peeking through it all, I went ahead and gave this 2 coats. And I went ahead and sped up the drying process with my dryer, my heat gun. And you just want to give it 2 good full coats and let it dry all the way. And you can see it drying there. The heat gun does speed up the process, so if you don't have one, you could use a blow dryer as well. Then I go ahead and with gloves, usually these are easy to paint if you have them on skewers, but I didn't have any skewers, so I went ahead and just decided to paint them in the palm of my hand. So I have 10 beads, so I went ahead and did 5 in the green, in the celery color, and then I did 5 in the ballet slipper. And they paint really, really, really easily. And you want to make sure that you give them a good coat and just put them down to dry, and just make sure that you move them around your surface a little bit so that when the paint dries, it doesn't go ahead and stick to your surface. And then I went in and did the other 5 in ballet slipper after I changed gloves, of course, because my other gloves were covered in the green paint. Then what we're going to do is we're going to let the board dry, and in the meantime we're going to take the tags off of the wooden sign, our little bunny. And I got this at Dollar General for $2. So if you haven't gone to Dollar General, check that out as well, because they have some great stuff too. So I go ahead and just make sure that the bunny is straight on the pattern paper because I don't want it to come out crooked at all. And then we go ahead and we trace the bunny and then cut it out. And like I said with the first DIY, you don't have to use the pattern paper. You can always just paint the bunny. So it's up to you, really. I just happened to get this paper at Hobby Lobby and I really loved the colors of it and it matched my chalk paint perfectly. So I went ahead with that. And I just use a glue stick and go ahead and adhere the paper to the wooden bunny. And you just want to smooth it out and make sure that it's even and make sure that it has no bumps or bubbles. Then I go ahead in with my Sola wood flowers and I glue the center one down first for spacing, and then go ahead and glue the side ones down as well, like a little crown on the bunny. And then I go in with my boxwood and decide to add a little greenery at the top. And there's my little silicone finger protector that I use constantly. And I decided to add a few more sprigs of boxwood. And then that is our completed bunny. Then with our tag, after it's dried completely, we want to take a chip brush. And I use Waverly chalk paint in white and got most of it off on that rag right there. And went in and dry brushed the sides, the bottom, the top, and then at the very end, when it was really, there was barely any paint on the brush, I went ahead in and painted over the whole center. And it's just to give it that distressed, aged look. Okay, now for the bead threading, it's easiest if you take your twine and wrap a little piece of tape around the end of it to make almost like a sharp point, like a needle, and that enables you to thread your beads more easily. So I went ahead and did that, and then I just started alternating beads, and I did pink and green, pink and green. And like I said, I did do 10 beads. So you'll see it creates a really nice hanger. And at first I decided to put it so it could hang on the wall. And so I decided to wrap it around and make like that loop through the back of the tag. But then I decided that I didn't really like that. So I went ahead, and you'll see in the finished product, I went ahead and I changed it and I just let it drape down as a single bead. And we go ahead and we take our bunny sign and hot glue that onto the center. And you'll see in the finished product, I decide to let it hang down and add a tassel to the bottom. And there's the finished product. And so I'm showing you here that you wrap it around your hand about 15 times, as thick as you want the tassel, and cut an extra piece of twine off. Then you want to take the twine and wrap it around the top portion of the bunch of twine and make a knot. Then when you turn it around the opposite direction, you'll have loops at the other end, and you'll want to cut through those, and you'll see me cut through them in just a second, and trim it up to make the ends even. And you'll see here I cut the twine off, and then I go in on the opposite end and I cut the loops and just give it a little haircut. And that's how you make a little tassel. Very easy. And then I just tied it onto the end of the beads. And you have your beautiful tag sign. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.